What's up guys, Photoshoot here, bringing you another September 2011 deck profile. Last time we profiled more casual deck in the form of Malefic Skill Drain, and this time we're gonna take a look at one of the best decks in this format, which was quite common in the top cut, but a deck that was never actually able to win a big tournament in this, even though I think it could have been easily able to. I'm of course going to talk about Chaos Agents. Without further ado, let's go to the list. First, we play 3 Earths. We play the standard ratios: 3 Earth, 3 Venus, then the 3 Shine Balls you summon with the Venus, your boss monster, Master Aparian, and then I run a card which wasn't in every list, which is Jupiter. The good things about Jupiter is it's an additional target you can search with Earth, because after you summon all of your Shine Balls, Venus is not that great of a target anymore. This runs over Stardust, it gets over Ryo, it gets over very important big monsters. So I think you should run this, and considering we play tour guides, it can create some combos with Levia as well. So I think the card is good. Then we play 2 Christians. This card was a 2 at this format, and it's the card is quite ridiculous. You can just drop it, and your opponent can't actually play the game when they rely on special sums, or you just drop this with your other boss monsters to OTK, because they can't drop Tragodia, Gorse, or in some cases Battle Fader. And we're of course, the 1 copy of Honest. This card was at 1 at this format. Those are the Fairy Monster, or the Agent and other Fairy Monsters. Then next we play 3 Tour Guides. I think one of the best cards, or one of the best single cards you could put in your deck. And of course the 1 Sangan you can search out with this. This is great for rank 3 exceeds, of course. As a dark for your Chaos Monsters, it's also quite good. And being able to get out the Sangan, which searches out your key cards, is also quite strong. Then around 2 copies of Gen X Ally Birdman. A lot of people only ran 1 of this, and I disagree with this decision. I think this card, when you draw this card with Venus, and they don't have a hand trap, you just go off, and you can go into a Trishula, or just go into level 8 Synchro and Gachi, which is quite good as well. And this card also gets banished when it gets special summoned by its effect. So you can special summon this, it gets banished, and later you can summon it back with Levia. And having access to the tuner with Levia is quite important, can be quite good later on. And of course, because we play a Chaos variant of this deck, we play the Black Luster Soldier, you can't imagine how broken this card was back in the day. When this card got unbanned in 2011, it shaped the entire format, and how much games get decided by VLS top decks is crazy. And this was a card not every list ran, 1 Chaos Sorcerer, but I think it's the correct decision, because sometimes you need the additional Chaos Monster. This card can just be a bait for like a Thunder King Ryo or a Upper Trap to get the sum of your Black Luster Soldier, your Parron, or your Christia through. And you can do plays like special summoning this, banish the Stardust Dragon, or any other card, or a BNS for example as well, and then go into a level 8 Synchro with one of your tuners. For the fan traps, there is I think no standard ratios, because everyone ran this quite differently. I decided to run 2 Herald of Orange Light and 2 Maxi. A lot of lists only ran 1 Maxi, which I disagree with because the planned deck was so popular in this format. I mean, Billy Bragg won 2 YCSs with it. And this card is also good in a mirror match because there's special sum of quite a lot, of course. And you trying to draw into your interruptions like Herald or drawing into Tragodia or Gorse to prevent them from RTKing you is a very valid reason to run more than 1 copy of Maxi. Herald is better than Effect Whaler in every way, I think. This card destroys the monster. You can negate in damage step in the battle phase, which is quite huge. You can negate grave effects with it. You can negate hand traps with it. The only con this card has compared to Vader that you have to drop another fairy into the graveyard, but even this is something which is good for the deck because you can view your graveyard for your Hyperion or your Christia, and you can actually put this back with Christia, and having this in the hand with another fairy and a Christia on the field is quite bonkers. So I think this card is way too good not to play compared to Vela. A lot of people ran like 2 to 3 copies of Vela, but I disagree with this. And if you drop top deck this and it's not useful, Whaler wouldn't have done anything in this situation as well. So and it's a tuner as well, so you can even use it as a tuner. So I don't see a reason to not run this card. Then of course play double Tragodia, which is also quite good with your Maxi as well. You don't run a lot of defensive traps, so you have to run Tragodia and the Gorse to prevent your opponent from OTKing you or getting too much board presence. Then for the spells, you have 32 monsters. For the spells, you run 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. You want to prevent your opponent from having Solemn Warning or Bottomless Trap Hole or Solemn Judgment, any kind of interruption to get rid of our boss monsters. And we want to OTK with this deck quite often, so having a lot of back row hate is very good. Then we play Double Duality. A lot of lists back in the day ran 3 of this card, but after turn 1, you special summon almost every turn, and it gets drawing multiple copies of this is then very bad because it just stays dead in your hand unless you have a Scrub Dragon. And for the last spells we play, of course, the staples Dark Hole, Reborn, and Heavy Storm, which is another card that gets rid of your opponent's back row. And the last card is Treacherous Trap Hole. I'm quite surprised no one played this spec in the day in Agents, because this card is just made for cards with single traps. And some Agent lists ran 1 single copy of Trap Dust Shoot. I agree with the decision to run Trap Dust Shoot, because Trap Dust Shoot is a great card for decks that can win their games quite often. Otherwise, the effects of Trap Dust Shoot fade away very quickly because it's not even a +1, and your opponent's gonna draw us in the grand game sooner or later back in the monsters they need. AC Panicton made quite a good video about this. It was a Goat format video, but you can use this information about how to run Trap Dust Shoot in this video for this format as well. I'm gonna link this video in the description because I think it's quite important, because a lot of people see Trap Dust Shoot as a staple in this format, and I don't think that's the case. I think the decision to run this in plants is also not that great, but I'm gonna talk about this more in my Tango Plant deck profile, which is gonna happen in the future. Back to this card. This card can win your games, can just win your games on its own. And compared to Trap Dust Shoot, what is better than putting away 1 monster, putting away 2 monsters of your opponent? and it's also more of an interruption card. So no one is gonna think about this card, so you can surprise your opponents quite a lot with it. Then let's start with the extra deck. We play 1 decisive armor. You can make this quite easy, and it's a great card in a mirror match. When you resolve this in a mirror match, you just win the game. This card just wins the game on its own. Then we play 1 Trishula, which is probably most of the best, one of the best, if not the best synchro in this format. And 1 Stardust and 1 Scrap Dragons, which are the standard 8s. Then I play up and 1 Thought Ruler as well. I think this card is in this deck better than Colossal Fighter, because you don't have that much problem to get over big monsters, and this card can is good against cards like Prison or Compulsory. So some decks gonna run this. So I think it's a good option as an additional level 8. For the 7s, I played 1 Black Rose Dragon and 1 Ancient Sacred Wyvern, which is another way to OTK your opponent. And for the 6, maybe 1 Orient Dragon to get rid of opponent's synchros and the Bryonic. For the 5s, of course, Cataster and TG Hyper Librarian. Some people run Android in this deck, and I don't see a reason at all to do this. The only reason, or the only situation where Android is better than this, is when you have Honest in hand. Otherwise, the 600 life points is going to be irrelevant most of the time. And even if you don't have any additional synchro plays, dropping this against like a plant deck or another deck that synchros quite a lot is very good, because they now have to make the decision how they're gonna do the turn, because they have to get rid of this first. Sometimes it's not in a very efficient way, because they don't want to give us more cards, because they're gonna lose the game most of the time if they give us additional draws. That's the reason why I think Maxi is so good in this deck. Then we play Armory Arm as well. You can make this with your Shine Balls and one of your level 2 tuners quite often. For the rank 3 exceeds, 1 Leviathan, which was like main beat stick for rank 3s, and 1 Lavier. The other rank 3s are just awful. You shouldn't play them unless you have all the extra deck space in the world. Lavier just is another way to get back our banished monsters and do like some combos with, for example, Birdman, which I mentioned earlier, and 1 Gachi. I think running 1 Gachi is fine in this deck, because you want to win quite fast most of the time. And in like 50 games, there was only 1 situation where I wanted the 2nd Gachi. I think this card is better for long grind games. I mean, this deck can grind, but it's quite rare that you have the situation where you need the 2nd Gachi and the Ghost token, of course, as well. That was the video and the deck profile. If you liked the video and want to see more September 2011 content, like more deck profiles or gameplay, you can subscribe if you want, or drop a like. If you have any questions about the ratios or want to discuss anything about this deck, feel free to drop a comment. I love to see other points of view about this format, because it's the favorite format of all time for me, and it's 2011 was the time where I fell in love with this game, and Agents is a very fun deck. Most of the decks in this format are very fun, and I hope to see you guys again. See ya!